وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. Yesterday we read an hadith on haya, that's the bab that says being shy is part of iman. So the summary: ألا يجدك الله في حيث نهاك ولا يفقدك في حيث أمرك. The summary of the shyness we're talking about is Allah. You should be shy that Allah should not find you where He has made forbidden for you, like a club party, a betting spot, an alcoholic bar. He should not find you there, and He should not miss you in where He has commanded you to be, like in the mosque. Or probably you are absent in the mosque. You should be shy enough that Allah. It should not be that they record those that come to the mosque and you are not among them, that possibly you went out. So these are the type of shyness we're talking about. Then should we also be shy for your own self-respect. I made an example of you chewing sugarcane through the streets. You as a responsible Muslim. It's actually an act of a non-modest act. It's not actually part of modesty for someone to do such things. So we went to an hadith that talks about the jihad, where jihad started from, where you are asked to fight fi sabilillah, in the cause of Allah. So the bab فَإِن تَابُوا وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةَ فَخَلُّوا سَبِيلَهُم. The bab is when they repent to Allah, فَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ, and they observe salah, وَآتَوُا الزَّكَاةَ, and they give out zakah, فَخَلُّوا سَبِيلَهُم, they let them be. This is talking to the Prophet ﷺ about the non-Muslims. نعم. عبد الله بن محمد قال حدثنا أبو روح الحرمي بن عمارة حدثنا شعبة عن واقد بن محمد قال سمعت أبي يحدث عن ابن عمر. So Waqid bin Muhammad, he was the one that had his father saying that Ibn Umar said. So Ibn Umar was the one that had it directly from the Prophet. Then Waqid had it from his father. So the father had it from Ibn Umar, and the Waqid had it from his father. But the person who told it to Imam Bukhari was Abdullah bin Muhammad. So, أن رسول الله قال أمرت أن أقاتل الناس. Prophet said, أمرت أن أقاتل الناس حتى يشهدوا. That he was commanded to battle with people. Let me just translate first, then I will explain. He said, أمرت أن أقاتل الناس حتى يشهدوا. They was commanded to attack people, to fight with people until they believe. This is just a plain explanation first, a plain translation. Allah ilaha illallah, that there is no God except Allah. Wa anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. Wa yuqimu salah, and they observe salah. Wa yu'tu zakah, and they should pay zakah. فإذا فعلوا, and if they should do it, فإذا فعلوا ذلك, if they should do that, عصموا مني دماءهم, then they have made their blood prohibited for me. That's if they should believe in Allah, they pay zakah and they observe salah, that means they are Muslims. So you can no longer, they can't be battled with you. Muslims do not fight another Muslim. وَأَمْوَالَهُمْ, and you can't take anything from their money. إِلَّا بِحَقِّ الْإِسْلَامِ, except with the right of Islam, which is zakah. وَحِسَابُهُمْ عَلَى اللَّهِ, then their judgment is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this bab is talking about jihad. That's you fighting in the cause of Allah. And some non-Muslims actually attack Muslims with this hadith. The non-Muslim, they attack Muslims with this hadith, that the Muslims forced non-Muslims to accept Islam by fighting with them. But that's the wrong understanding of the hadith. Al-Islam, Dinu Salam. The Islam is actually a religion of peace. And the Prophet ﷺ also taught us in one of the ayat of the Quran. He said, La ikraha fi deen. That there's no you can't use bad things to bring people to Islam. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in another ayat, he said, Lasta alayhim bi jabbar. You can't force them into Islam. So the jihad they are talking about here, let me just make this thing as brief as I can. The jihad they're talking about here is during the time of Prophet ﷺ, these non-Muslims, The people they were asked to fight with were not actually people of the book. They were not Ahlul Kitab, like the Yahudi or Nasara. They were the Mushrikeen, the non-Muslims, those that worship idols totally. And these people, they were not only disbelieving in Islam, they were forbidding people to believe in Islam. 1. 2. They were actually killing the weak Muslims. They were killing the weak Muslims, like women, children, old people. They were doing this. The Prophet even then was still asking the people to have peace, like nobody should battle with anybody, everything should be at peace. But that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no. These things they are doing now they are not oppressing the Muslims. So since وَإِذَا قَتَلُوكُمْ فَاقْتُلُوهُمْ. So that's where the ayah comes that if they should fight you, then fight them back. Because if you should leave them, they are perishing your weak ones, and you have the power to defend yourself. That's where the saying of when you see someone want to kill you, and you have the ability to defend yourself, so you won't be killed. So that's the same way that when you see someone they are trying to kill your own people under you that are weak, and you have the ability to protect them, then protect them. So the Ahlul Kitab and the Yahud, the Jews and the non-Muslims, were not really part of this. They actually believed that they actually have a God they worship. They believe that there is one God. Yeah, they didn't believe in Prophet ﷺ. Just like, and part of the Christians were even the in-laws of Prophet ﷺ, the non-Muslims. That's the Christians. They were part of the in-laws of Prophet ﷺ, like Warqa bin Nawfal. Warqa bin Nawfal ibn Amm Khadija. He was the cousin of Khadija, who is the wife of Prophet ﷺ. And he was even the one who told Prophet ﷺ that you are becoming a prophet. He was the one that explained the dream. And when the Prophet ﷺ saw Jibril alayhi salatu wasalam in Cave Hira and told him what happened, he was the one that told the Prophet ﷺ that this same person you saw in this cave that pressed you and asked you to read 3 times was the same person Musa saw during his time. So because Warqa was a Christian who writes Bible in Hebrew, so because he had the knowledge about revelation and prophets, he was one who explained to the Prophet ﷺ that this thing you are witnessing is prophethood, that you are about to become a prophet. So you can see that the Muslims and the Christians or the Jews, they were having good relation. Then the aspect of the Jews, explaining that the Jews had good relation with the Muslims, was like the fasting of Ashura that we have today. Ashura was actually gotten from the Jews. We Muslims at first were not fasting Ashura. That's the 10th day of Muharram. We were not fasting the 10th day of Muharram. But Prophet were passing by the Jews one day, and he discovered something. He found out that they were not eating on that day. And he asked them that, why do you, every 10th of Ashura, you don't eat? They said, oh, because that was the day that Musa saved the people of Israel, Bani Israel, and that's the day they crossed the ocean. So they used that day to glorify their Lord, to glorify God, that they were able to pass, to cross that place in peace. So that's what Prophet told them that نَحْنُ أَقْرَبْ إِلَيْكُمْ نَحْنُ أَقْرَبْ إِلَى مُوسَى مِنْكُمْ. He now told them that we are closer to Musa than you people. So that's when he commanded us Muslims to start fasting Ashura. And we should either add the 9th day or the 11th day to the 10th day. So to differentiate between the non-Muslim and the Muslim. But that shows you, this just proves that the Muslims and the Christians were having good relations, same as the Jews. But the people that Islam asked you to fight with were those ones that were forbidding people to accept Islam, and they were killing the weak. This is the point we should make the non-Muslims understand. Islam never forced the non-Muslims to accept the deen. No, they never did it. They only forced, they only attacked them to protect the weak ones among them. That was the sabab of jihad. Then, secondly, the aspect of them paying, they discovered that there were some, after the battle with these people, the non-Muslims that were killing the weak ones, there were some that were not killing the weak ones, but they refused to accept Islam just for one reason, because they don't want to pay zakah. So, they don't want to pay zakah. That was the main reason why they refused to accept Islam. That's where Mal Jizya came in. That those of them that did not believe, and they don't want us to battle with them, they don't want to migrate, they want to still stay in our land, because then when Muslims had battled for a while, actually the most powerful people in Quraysh accepted Islam. So it was just remaining some weak, stubborn ones that were actually just using out of stubbornness. They don't want to what? Accept the deen. And out of stinginess too, they don't want to assist the poor with what they have. So jizya is, we can call it extortion, or we call it a protection, kind of tax. Yeah, tax is in a way of tax, the same way you pay tax. That's like this, but it's not zakah. Zakah is the one that comes from the Muslim. When you say zakatul mal, that's the rich Muslims will pay from their wealth. I think in 1 million you pay 25,000. That's how low the amount they collect from the rich. If you're having 1 million, you pay what? 25,000 naira. So the non-Muslims that were rich then, that will want to accept Islam, but because they were very greedy and stingy, they don't want to accept because they don't want to pay that zakah. So that's why they made, and they don't want to migrate from Mecca. They still want to be there. That's why they made that extortion compulsory of them. Muslims try to do in time of Umar. That's where he do collect those money from. That you should, if you can pay this jizya, since you don't want to accept, no problem. And you are not killing the weak ones. But we see that you don't want to pay zakat, that's why you're not in Islam. Then you have to pay this money. Because now you are under us, we are protecting you. And we can't be protecting you for free. But you are not what? We are not believers. And you are doing this so as not to assist the weak ones. And there are some people part of you that are non-believers that were also assisting with the Muslims' money. I don't know if you are getting the point. So it should be as if they are trying to outsmart the believers. Rabbi made jizya compulsory on them that they should pay jizya. So jizya was the money that they paid. He only collected it from the rich ones among the non-Muslims, not the weak ones. Not the weak ones. So we find out that even those that refused not to accept and they were weak ones, they left them with their deen. That's why in Surah Al-Kafirun he said, Lakum dinukum waliya deen. You are of your own religion. Your own religion is with you, and I'm of mine. So if you can worship, you can be of your own religion, and you allow me to be in my own path, then we won't have issues. It's when you are oppressing or you are trying to outsmart, that's when problems come. So because he found out that the rich ones among the non-Muslims were not wanting to join Islam because they don't want to pay zakat, because they had zakat among, so he made jizya compulsory for them. So they has to pay part of it for them to use in taking care of the ummah and the people under the care of the Muslims. That's where jizya came. And he said, okay, if you don't accept Islam, the other option is what? You pay jizya. And if you pay jizya, then we won't fight with you. So the jihad where they were actually fighting was because the people were not what? They were not accepting Islam. They were not accepting Islam, and they were forbidding people to accept Islam. And they were also oppressing the weak Muslims. Now, and that's for the jihad of Qital. And the jihad of Qital, the Muslims were doing it on the cause of Allah to the extent, even when they were battling, while battling, in the war ground, they don't kill the weak Muslims, they don't kill the weak non-idol worshippers. That's those that were still killing people. They forbid, Islam forbid them to kill old people, the old ones. It forbid them to kill women, and it forbid them in killing children. Only those youths that were actually fighting were those the Muslims battled with. So this is how you clarify the non-Muslim that Islam is a religion of peace. That it is not a religion of aggressiveness, or how you may put it. There was even a time to prove that this was actually pure for the sake of Allah. That none of the Sahaba ever killed someone except for the sake of Allah. I can't really remember the name of the Sahaba, but my mind keep telling me Ali. But I won't say it's Ali. But he was a very close Sahaba of Prophet. He was battling. So while he was fighting with these non-Muslims, that's the mushrikeen, the oppressors, while he was battling with them, one of them spat on his face. Because as they were battling, he already hit the other one's, the opposer's sword, and the sword fell down. So because that one was helpless, just spat on his face. He spat on his face, and out of anger, like, since you want to kill him, let me just annoy you. Then Ali was about killing him, but he stopped when he spat on his face. If you're the one, what will you do? You will kill him more, right? But because he has spat on his face, he refused to kill the person. And they asked him that, why didn't the Sahaba, why did you kill this person when he even spat on your face? He said, I was actually fighting with him for the sake of Allah. But when he spat on my face, I was angry. So if I had killed him, I would kill him because he spat on my face, not for the sake of Allah. That shows you the pure intention they were having. So how does Iman relate to this? In my relate to this, that it's only the pure Muslims, the real Muslims, those who actually have certain faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There were those who were what? Who were fighting for the sake of Allah. For the sake of Allah. They would leave their homes. And those who act as composed, as important as fighting for the sake of Allah was. There were actually some things that Prophet actually nullified some people not to go to the battlefield. Like those who were having weak parents. They will ask them to maybe make your parents happy or stay with them if they won't allow you to leave before you come for jihad. So level of Iman we're talking about that. One, they were doing it for the sake of Allah, purely for the sake of Allah, just like the way the Sahaba did. They were not killing for not their sake, not for any other reason, but to protect the Muslims and for the sake of Allah. Two, they were doing these acts of worship and you doing jihad. Jihad is not only in battles. It does not relate to battles. It's not until you fight. Helping people too is jihad. What you're doing, moving from one place to another to preach is what? Is jihad fi sabilillah. Now, just like another way of jihad we can do in our era. Now we no longer fight battles that much. But there are ways we can protect Muslims in Gaza, in Palestine. Number one, if you were a very able, wealthy Muslim, if you had Muslims who were as wealthy as possible, that you can migrate some people from Palestine to other countries for them to be safe, then you should do this. This is how you can do your own part of jihad. Without you being asked, you can actually take from your wealth to protect these people. This is actually one part of jihad we can do. This is the faith they are talking about, how it relates, how the battles relate to how Iman, how our faith relates to jihad fi sabilillah. Then Imam Ibn Taymiyyah said something. He said, "Man lam yasurruhu ma yasurru al-mu'minun, wa la yasu'uhu ma yasu'u al-mu'minun, falaysa minhum." That anyone that what is making the Muslims happy does not make him happy, and what is making them sad does not make him sad, is not part of the Muslims. I'm talking about the people of Palestine now. So we as Muslims, we can actually do this jihad. Most of us that we are not able, but there are ways we can actually assist them with dua. The people of Palestine, we should assist them with dua. We can't just feel a long time that alhamdulillah, it is not, thank God it didn't affect our own community, we are safe, so we should not get involved. No. Assist them with your dua. Then if you are the type that has connections, so you have wealth to assist some people, then you can assist. If you are the type that have information or suggestions you can give, you can give. This is another way you do your own jihad. Then scholars have made us to understand that jihad fi sabilillah is for you to do something totally for the sake of anything you can do for the sake of Allah without expecting anything in return. Is jihad fi sabilillah. So the point of this hadith was actually referring to qital. Jihad is qital. That's the jihad of you fighting and killing. So we should have this clear understanding that when you are being attacked, that's why I actually explained it in this angle. Because it's very conversant. Actually, I made argument with non-Muslims while I was still working at Coca-Cola. I had argument with some of the Christians, so I explained it to them. That jihad was not about Muslim killing or forcing people to Islam. No, we never forced people to Islam. Islam is a matter of choice. That's why the Prophet said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Lesta alayhim bihudahu. That you cannot guide them. Your own is just to give them the message, preach, advise, then you leave the rest for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But why Allah commanded them to fight back then was because they were not only disbelieving, they were not actually refusing to accept Islam out of stubbornness, they were actually forbidding others to accept Islam. One, and they were actually killing who? The weak Muslims. So we should be able to explain this. And pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy on us. And he said, if they can accept Islam, they can believe in Allah, they accept Islam willingly, they believe in Allah, and they pay zakah, they fast, they do what Muslims do, then you don't have any rights to kill them. Or if they refuse to believe and they agree to pay the jizya, then no problem. You should let them be as non-Muslim, and they should do their religion the same way you do yours. I'm going to ask if you pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy on us. I will pray He protect the people of Palestine. May He ease their affairs. May He make it easy on the Muslims who are powerful to assist them. Because I still find it difficult to understand it. It's difficult for me to encode why the Muslims who are capable. I remember when something happened in Ukraine, I saw how Kuwait, Dubai, how they assisted people there. When it happened, they even created mobile houses these houses should be built on containers that you can move. They created it for these people that their houses were destroyed. As if any difficult to understand why they've not done it for the people of Palestine. So we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy on them to assist them. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease our affairs and may make us be of good relations with Muslims and non-Muslims. ومن هنا أقف قول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر الدعوة الحمد لله.